Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jelly Ali. In this incarnation, I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week from August 18th until August 24th. So this week, it starts to move a lot. Energies are starting to move because we have the first of two new moons in Virgo. The second one is going to be a partial solar eclipse at the end of September, but we officially begin the eclipses season with this event, and we enter in this phase where the lunar nodes or karma nodes, these mathematical points that right now are placed, the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo, are activated. And life presents us karmic situations. I am referring to lessons, cuts, cleansing, and beginnings that respond to our purpose of incarnation. So this season has every eclipse season has this tendency to be accelerated. We feel a weird energy. The environment could be felt weird. Dreams with a lot of with a great charge of images, and everything that happens not only in eclipses but in life is a moment of redirectioning to where the soul wants to go to grow. Whether if we are understanding that at the present moment or not. So okay, I'm going in order because we still have the sun in Leo. We didn't end the season yet. So on August 19th, the sun in Leo creates a trine with Chiron retrograde in Aries. This happens almost in the degree 27. And we could talk about the maturity of an energy. This could be a moment where we could see the product of decisions that we have taken that implied the authentic expression of who we are, encouraging ourselves to be creative, sharing our light, or facing these things, even though in spite of the insecurities, the fears, or facing pain, because everything that I have just mentioned is associated to Chiron, the wounds. But Chiron has been in this sign from 2018. So we're talking about something that we have been dealing a lot in many activations during these years. So this is about seeing that Chironian wound, it is there, but perhaps being able to be from the heart and not allowing that wound conditioning ourselves, or perhaps even receiving a recognition for what we have achieved until this point. It could be not literally from another person, but perhaps a situation or an experience that can represent this. And at the same time, this is the transit. This transit, it is the opportunity to do all of this that I am mentioning and to act recognizing what for us right now represents connecting ourselves with a healthy self-esteem. Also with talents or activities that connects us with passion without mattering about these fears or insecurities. This is very linked with the sun in Leo, but at the same time, Venus in Cancer is creating a square with Chiron retrograde in Aries. In fact, this is participating of the new moon. Therefore, this indicates that on one hand we have this point of support, but in other area of life, more associated with our familiar conditionings, with the relationships with family members, our mother, the home, and what we have absorbed from those spaces could now be reflected in situations that are putting us more reactive, or in other cases we could face painful situations in relationships or in the ways that we are giving value to ourselves, and therefore that is impacting also in our resources. And as every tension, this is a possibility of extracting light and to start to move in a different way. And also, Venus starts to activate an opposition with Pluto, but I am going to talk about that in another video to not put so much information in this one. So on August 22nd, the sun enters in Virgo, and there starts to activate all of the aspects, many of the aspects of the new moon. Because the following day, August 23rd, we have the new moon in Virgo in the degree 0 with 22nd minutes. So mutable signs, sun, moon, or ascendant in Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, they are going to feel this new moon in a stronger way. especially the ones, the people that have this, the luminaries in or planets in the first degrees. So Virgo is a mutable sign of Earth, commonly linked with habits, routines, order, cleansing, or organization, the consistency that we need to acquire to give form to the energy, which is Pisces, and the complementary axis in the matter, to give form to that in the matter. Ways of service to others, ways of helping our jobs, our labors, mental and physical health, and how that is influenced by our energy, thoughts, emotions, and actions. It is a very uh, resolutive, I don't know if that word I am exists in English, but well, yeah, it is a sign very focused in resolutions, because it is ruled by Mercury, both like Gemini, but it is a sign of Earth, so it is much more focused in resolving in the matter in adaptative ways. There is this capacity to observing details or aspects to be modified to optimize the system, like detecting the fail in a software or in a car, identifying that to improve that situation. And also from a higher perspective is the process of refinement, of perfectioning that we came here to do in the plane of matter as souls incarnated. So obviously, as every sign, it has its shadows, and they could emerge because this lunation, it is given in a square with Uranus in Gemini. It is almost exact. This is talking about the process that we are going to experiment in that area of our lives in the next 6 months. And this means that there could be tense situations on the outside or uncomfortable situations on the inside that are activating and that are showing us the need to make changes regarding what all of what Virgo represents, and these changes are breaking with forms of thought and forms in which we were conceiving life and our daily experience. This could be linked with news, information, unexpected circumstances. Many times it is not that they are that unexpected. If we go, inwards, we could recognize that they required this movement. But well, in other situations, they could be, like a surprise. We could talk about symptoms. Health could be impacted when we talk about Virgo, and so even if you don't have that great symptom, it is important to look for listening to the message that the body has for us, and not to try to turn off the symptom quickly, because there we can produce a core healing. And everything that can occur, it is to be aware of something that we need to upload in ourselves, something that we need to evolve, and we will see how this is manifested collectively. But well, for some people this could be linked with a change of perception, and for others with very specific decisions that are talking about great changes or radical cuts, and that can allow us to move forward in the next months. And if we talk about a change of perception, probably it necessarily has to be reflected in a new way of inhabiting the path, changes of routines, of food structures of thought, whatever thing is implied with what we are doing every day, because this is very linked with Virgo. And as it is a square, this could generate resistances, because this experience, it is pushing us outside of a structure of thought, of a routine in which we have created the illusion of security. And this could even break with a plan, a form of planification or organization that we had, and life is telling us this is not the way. This is going to be other way. And of course, this has an evolutionary purpose, and we have to understand that. But well, there is when the shadows of Virgo could be activated, like over analyzing as a way of controlling, putting excuses in with the tiny details that are not a part of the big picture to to avoid making those changes. It is a mutable sign, but could manifest the rigidity. The rigidity of Virgo, it is more like this. I was thinking that this is the plan, this is the way I wanted to do this, I wanted to carry this thing like this, and to be oneself the one that is putting the obstacles in front of what is happening. And with Uranus in Gemini and in every sign, there is no control, but especially in here, only adaptation. It is true that it is not Uranus in Taurus, because Taurus is a fixed sign, much more rigid in front of change. But this is the good thing of Uranus in Gemini. We have the capacity to flexibilize, so we can adapt. But this depends on each one of us, of course. And there could be this attachment to this security zone of the mind, or a way in which we have fit our life. Also, other way of Virgo, could be, putting the focus in everything that is lacking, everything that I don't have. Until this is not perfect, I am not going to begin that. And those are ways of evasion of Virgo. Evasion, it is something much more linked with Pisces, which is the complementary axis, the opposite sign. But Virgo has its evasions, and they are manifested this way. And of course, this is linked with situations that are producing uncertainty. So a recommendation with squares with Uranus in Gemini, not for conditioning yourselves, on the contrary, to look for regulation. There could be a lot of mental overcharge, difficulties to sleep, overthinking, acquire information excessively. So the more that we descend to the body, the more that we seek for ways to regulate our nervous system, or creating a Pacific environment, and then all the things that are uncomfortable and that we cannot again turn off or push away, those are messages, so we can understand where we need to focus in the next cycle. We have to add that when the Sun enters in Virgo, it is going to create a configuration that is called Yod, or Finger of God, which is formed by 2 inconjunctions and 1 sextile. And this configuration, it is also uncomfortable. So yeah, it is a challenging new moon, but a very important one that leads us, to make the real changes in the material experience. And the focal point of the Yod, it is the Sun in Virgo. Therefore, there is a habit, a form of service. There is something that we need to make adjustments, but it is something that we have identified a lot, and that we could have made that part of our personality. And inconjunctions are called, stone in the shoe, on the shoe, because if you have a tiny stone in the shoe, perhaps initially that is not, you can walk with that. But if you start to walk miles, suddenly your foot is hurting. So we're talking about something that initially we weren't that aware. We could feel the discomfort, but not so much to make changes. But then, situations could lead us to a moment of crisis where we need to reevaluate things. To bring them to consciousness. So this is like a metaphor of the Yods. And in one point, we have the Sun in Virgo creating conjunctions with Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Aries, both retrograde there. And in the other point, we have both of them, Saturn and Neptune are making a sextile with Pluto. And in the other point, the Sun in Virgo connecting with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So this means that on one side, it is important to review, to identify which kind of exigencies or fears of not being capable of facing something are preventing us from making choices that are opening up the way for new experiences that we haven't done before, because this is what the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune are representing, and that is going to be effective the next year, 2026. So how much we are listening to ourselves, how much credit we are giving to our inner voice at the time that we need to make these decisions, and to review the path until this point, because they are both retrograde. Or if there are denials for fear of generating those changes, or Could be also identifying the lack of connection to earth, being too much centered in dreams without doing something, in coherence with that, consequently, or focusing in situations that are not part of the possibilities right now and that are representing an escapism. On the other side, with in conjunction with Pluto, this is about identifying to which external things or internal perceptions we could be giving the power and using them as obstacles to not make those changes in our process. Fears to move out from a routine, from a way of life, because consciously or unconsciously that is being felt as we not fitting in society, in a circle, in our families, in our programmings, and could also be this need of letting go of control of situations by over analyzing them or focusing in the things that are not right, and losing the big picture, which is the capacity of Aquarius, to elevate the view and to understand the higher plan. This is not about, forcing ourselves to understand the higher plan, but to open up ourselves to that. So on the other side, Mercury, which is the ruler of this new moon, it is still in Leo, still creating a sextile with Mars in Libra. I talked about this the last week, and this represents this chance of focusing right now in creating agreements to move forward if it's necessary, or to put our look in actions that could generate balance while we are going through the movements and the change. So this is everything today. Thank you everyone, see you in the next video. Ciao ciao.